Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Big Four Podcast. My name is Luke Spring, and I am with the usual Brian, Nick, and Andrew. How is everyone doing on this Tuesday evening? Not Monday.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
not
Not
Mondays.
gonna
You want to face
lie.
the Mondays.
Not gonna lie, I've been better. I had my head was held high after Game 3. Celtics coming back. They're gonna win in 6.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Guess who is the referee?
Tony Brothers.
And Scott got flushed out.
See, I used to hate Scott. Scott's been good in the playoffs this year. He's reffed it fair. He doesn't go for no BS. He's kind of just like, dude, you're flopping.
I think the refs are fairly bad for both sides because there are Miami Heat fans here that say the refs only favor the Celtics, and then all my Celtics fans say all my Celtics friends say the refs only favor the Heat. So it's like
they've been saying that for like all the games, other than fourth quarter game 4 when they fourth quarter game 2 when they were literally trying for the Celtics to win because they wanted it to be a tied series, and the Celtics just sucked so much. Other than that, the Heat have shot more free throws in every game. There's been more fouls on the Celtics in every game.
Yeah.
I swear, after every game, oh my God.
I honestly think that it's more balanced than it was for Celtics Raptors.
Oh,
that was an absolute disgrace of refereeing.
That whole series,
it was disgusting.
I think it made it worse just because we might not notice we might not even notice that it could be the same in this series. It's just the fact that seeing Lowry, Van Vliet, and Nick Nurse crying on the floor and then getting the call is a lot more frustrating than it just being, oh yeah, that was a foul, and not seeing them flopping on the floor.
Oh yeah,
so,
watching Eric Spoelstra be calm, cool, and collected is
do
just
the classic Brad Stevens. The only thing they do is semi-stomp their foot and start clapping aggressively. That's all they will ever do.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
More than that. It's
and as always, we are your number 2 source for all things sports. I had to get that out before that went derailed and freaking blew up everything. But anyways, we are going to talk about a lot of sports, mainly basketball and football, because those are the only relevant sports going on right now.
What about the Stanley Cup final?
All right, who cares? Tampa Bay should run away with that, and I don't even care who wins.
Good.
It's the battle between Florida and Texas for the hockey championship. Makes no sense. But anyways,
best championship in sports.
We have the Raiders, who had a big game. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. But first, we will start with our favorite football team, the New England Patriots. Tough loss in Seattle. Nick, I want to start with you. You were pretty upset after that loss. What are your takeaways from that?
I got the life sucked out of me when they lost. When they got upended at the 1, I got the life sucked out of me. See, I'm fine with the play call because it was working. At the last play, we're talking about the last play.
Yeah.
But Seattle has seen that 4 previous times. I mean, it took them seen that formation 4 previous times, and they ran it 3 of those times and were successful 2 of those times. And the other one was the pass. That was a nasty pass. That was just a nasty play. That was a great play call. Totally faked them out. But I honestly, one thing the Patriots didn't run all day, and I told you guys this in a very detailed text one, and just because I was just struggling after this game. I was struggling.
Vince Lombardi-esque.
But I think they should have ran the run-pass option because they didn't run it all day. They ran a couple of run options or fake plays on 3rd down. They got absolutely blown up. But if you come out with Cam Newton, a guy that's a running threat himself, you put the balls on the left hash, put 3 receivers right, and you have Burkhead to your right. Burkhead can dive to the goal. Burkhead can dive towards the goal line. Newton can just pitch it to him. Or Newton can do a little all 240 pounds of himself and go one-on-one with a defensive back, which I think will end very well for New England. And if that fails, you got 3 receivers to throw it to. That spreads the field. It takes away a defensive lineman. It takes away the left side. And it takes away most of those linebackers, specifically Bobby Wagner, for the most part, if Newton's just going to roll out to the right. And it's just you get 240 pounds of Newton. I think it takes 3 defensive backs to stop him. I don't even think Jamal Adams can stop him. 240 pounds of Cam Newton, and it's going to take a skinny little defensive back to not only tackle him, but to stop his forward progress in place. I don't think that's happening. I think that's what they should have ran because I don't think Seattle had a lot of film about that. I don't think they really prepared film-wise for an RPO because I don't think the Pats didn't really even run it against the Dolphins. So I think that play would have worked beautifully.
They could have done the good old salute to James White with a toss going right. But I think, think about it this way. If they threw the ball and it was incomplete, every single person would be pissed off saying, how did you not run with Cam?
Well, so the idea is that Cam's first thought is run. And if he's about to get man tackled at the point of attack, just think
exactly
over the top.
But no matter what happens,
he's got to be wide open, but Cam, you're taking it yourself for the most part.
No matter what
other guys are just weapons to kind of throw off the defense and draw man to man.
No matter what happened, if they didn't score, people are going to be mad. So they'll question the play call no matter what happens if you didn't score. If you score, greatest play ever, Belichick, McDaniels.
I thought that gave them a
Newton
good chance
MVP.
to score that kind of play.
But I think he should have. I mean, only time they did it was at the end of the half. You're telling me Cam Newton couldn't do a sneak under center to get a yard?
Keep it 100%. Simple.
Keep it simple.
And we saw it in Carolina when he gets under when he had his MVP season in Carolina, and even past that, he'd get under center and literally just take the snap and jump over the line, and
that's all you had to do.
And stick the ball out.
Use your strength. Use your length.
It's 6'5". He had to reach the ball out 2 feet.
If 40-year-old Tom Brady can do it, Cam Newton can do it.
That's what I don't get. So
and you put him in the gun.
The play it worked legit 2 minutes prior. He didn't even get touched.
I think they knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I'm a fan. I knew what the Patriots.
We all knew what was coming.
The most unpredictable offense in the NFL, and I knew what was coming.
We all knew it was coming because we believed it was going to work.
Yeah.
And all he had to do was kick it outside, and it did.
I don't have an issue with it, but I think that there are more plays that are effective.
So it's worked every single time this season, other than that play where he literally just stands there for 3 seconds and waits.
Twice
in this game.
Yeah, twice in that game.
I mean, they ran that play basically 4 times. He ran it twice.
They ran it 5 times actually.
Yeah, I mean
the same formation. They ran the formation 5 times.
And then it worked in against Miami. But the only problem is in the second quarter, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He waits so long to take that.
It's the patience. You got it. You can't just dive in.
I don't get. I mean, it's totally the sneak. The sneak was the play. How do you not just go full Cam Newton, all that force, and just literally dive over the center? He's not getting stuffed.
I think what's so here's what you have in Seattle. Seattle has the Seattle defense has always been praised on being the more aggressive defense. And they had Ken Chancellor. He's the guy that jumps over centers. They have Bobby Wagner. And Jamal Adams.
These guys aren't on the team anymore.
Jamal Adams. I think what Seattle was.
They have Bobby Wagner. That's it.
Yeah,
you're talking about Cam Chancellor.
Jamal Adams.
The last time he was in the league, but
they train these guys to be very aggressive. Adams is always very aggressive. Did you watch Adams? Adams was all over Newton, and he would hit him hard even after Newton released the ball. He would risk getting rough in the passer.
Not
just
even
so
though.
Cam Newton.
Adams was kind of invisible.
I think the problem with the sneak, although I like the play callers. Oh, there's a problem with every play, and I think the one problem with the sneak is that Seattle's just gonna they see Newton under center. They know exactly what's gonna happen, and they're just gonna stack the center, go right on top of Andrews.
Okay, first off, Jamal Adams would not be on the line, so that is not really effective.
Yeah,
also, he wasn't
invisible in that play.
Aggressive. He wasn't trained to be aggressive by the Seattle Seahawks. He's been with them for about a month.
Yeah, but
he's been that way his entire career.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. He's still crazy. I think what happens is that they stack the line. If the Jets see Newton under center, Jamal Adams, wherever the hell Jamal Adams is, he's gonna go and just go around all those guys. They're all gonna get around the center, and they're gonna make sure that run stops. That's why I think there's flaws to every play, and if I think the sneak is a good play, but if there's one flaw, then that's the one flaw.
There's a flaw. Yeah, I mean, no matter what the play was, if they didn't score, there's criticism. If they score, we're praising everybody. So it's fine. I took a lot of positives out of that game. Pats were down 12 with 4 minutes left, and they literally were a yard away from scoring 2 touchdowns and winning the game. Defense struggled. I mean, Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in the league.
He's the MVP.
He is. He should have been the MVP last year, honestly.
Everyone's saying how bad Gilmore played.
Gilmore didn't even play bad. He was all over that
catches,
ball.
And then Metcalf made a great catch, and if he doesn't make that 54-yard touchdown catch or whatever, 50-something yard touchdown catch, he's held to 3 catches for 40 yards.
Could Gilmore have done anything different? His arm was literally in his guy's hands.
I think
Metcalf is just an absolute.
But I'm not going to tell him not to.
Yeah. Corners never turn their
Metcalf is a bad matchup for every single corner. There's no good matchup.
Right. I think the only different thing that Gilmore could have done, which I think it was great coverage regardless, was if he happened to turn his head, he probably would have been able to intercept.
You say that all the time.
He
except
was all over.
That was turn your head. All you got to do is turn. You pick.
Well, because his hand was fully extended. His forearm was across Metcalf's hands, and the ball hit him right in the forearm.
That was great.
And
Russ's deep ball throws. I hate how that guy got.
And he got lit up by Winovich on that throw too.
I know Winovich had an insane game. Winovich is the best player. He's insane.
Winovich is awesome.
Duggar played well.
Imagine if they had Hightower.
Jonathan Jones sucked.
Jonathan Jones was terrible. He
had his worst game of his life. He's usually
J-Mac
solid.
had a couple of bad plays too.
I don't blame him. I mean, he's not like.
I'm not expecting. Wasn't he on the tail end of that touchdown pass to Moore?
Yeah. What are you supposed to do with that? Greatest, one of the best throws I've seen. Put it absolute in the bread basket, and the guy somehow got lucky with his feet in because the pylon knocked his foot back in. Other than that, he's out of bounds. Like, what are you supposed to do?
That was a great throw, great athletic play to stay in bounds.
Both of those touchdowns.
No, wasn't that even inbounds because he got that foot in bounds.
I know.
2 steps in either way.
Well, no. His second foot hit the pylon and then got kept in.
Yeah.
That was his second foot.
His foot was gonna be out of bounds.
If it didn't hit the pylon, it wouldn't.
Exactly.
But so, I mean, defense played. They were fine. They weren't great. The run defense was terrible. Our linebackers are absolute booty. They stink.
In Hightower, missing Hightower.
Like Hightower's
Bentley was going to be. I thought Bentley and Uche were going to be like the guys.
Played.
And Uche's not
both games.
Uche's not playing, and Bentley is just a. Bentley had that 127-yard run that Wilson had. Bentley completely misread that one. I mean, that was just garbage. Your job, Jawan Bentley.
That's one-on-one with Russell Wilson and Jawan Bentley. I'm taking Russell Wilson.
But Bentley was off balance and just gave Wilson the right side.
Yeah, because he's like a more true linebacker, like a bigger body. The linebackers
I thought Bentley was going to be really good for us.
Van Noy, who's athletic and can cover passes.
Belichick said, "Screw, we're going to get rid of Van Noy, Collins, Hightower can opt out. We don't care." I mean, he got rid of a lot of linebackers.
There's no way Uche doesn't play next week. They clearly need help at.
What about Simmons? What's Simmons been
doing? He
played
played a little bit in Jennings. You mean?
Alabama. He's got to be some kind of special.
Jennings, you mean?
Yeah, Jennings. Sorry.
Anfernee Jennings. Yeah, he played a little bit week 1. I didn't see him against Seattle, but Duggar looks.
Winovich though.
His hits.
Looks great.
Winovich is awesome.
He's great.
Winovich is fantastic. He's going to be like
unit.
And I think the names sound alike for a reason. I think this was just meant to be. He's going to be like Ninkovich.
Winovich.
He's going to be like our Ninkovich.
Yeah, I don't know. Defense will get cleaned up, and the other thing is like, so now
defense
it's like
is always good. I think they just had the wrong game plan. I don't think they have the right game plan.
Yeah,
they also got kind of beat on the ground.
Because they're missing linebackers. Chris Carson, I swear, got like 7 runs.
Let's talk about that 3rd and 1 that the Seahawks had before he gave the Pats that final drive. Why are you passing the ball?
Chucking it deep. I was like,
ready. If the Pats went down and ended up scoring, we're talking about that 3rd and 1 play. Once again, the Seahawks pass with 1 yard left.
What are you doing?
3rd and 1. You have the Pats have 2 timeouts. There's less than 2 minutes left. And they throw it. Why wouldn't you run it? If you don't get it, you force the Pats to burn a timeout, and the Pats have to go the Pats have to go because their punter an absolute nuke. Have to go 70-something yards with 1 timeout, which they wouldn't have done with 1 timeout. We saw that. I think that and 3rd and 1 and that run, the run game didn't have the big bursts with the running backs, but Carson had like 70 or 60-something yards rushing. I think he could have, and it was consistent, like 3 to 4 or 5 yards per carry. Like it was just every single time it was that consistent. You're telling me they couldn't have gotten 3 yards and gotten a first down, and if they don't get the first down, they force the New England call timeout. I just think that play call was terrible.
Once again, it came down to Nick Folk not making a field goal. He makes that field goal. We kick
54 yards.
Bomb.
It was 51.
He's a bomb
51,
still.
Except 4. He's so bad. It was 1.
I swear to God, it was 4.
It was 51. I will bet literally my entire life on that.
Right, I'm gonna find.
So positive.
Fact check this one. Keep talking.
But no, he's so bad. And then Bill today is like, "Yep, we're committed to Nick for the rest of the season." I'm like, buddy, that man, anything over 35 yards, he's missing. He's money on extra points. Every single one is dead center. So what is it when you back up? Yes, 51's backed up, but you don't even have to think about it like you're backed up another 10 yards. Your kick for the 33 is good from 51. Just do the same thing. Literally. Like, you put it at the top of the upright, it's good from 51.
Mm-hmm.
Do the same thing, and you make the field goal.
Was it 51, Nick?
Yes.
Indeed, it was 51.
It's more of a mental thing, I believe.
He's such a clown.
I mean, he missed it 7 yards to the left. I mean, I think that the 51-yard field goal for a kicker that's not even that good, I mean, it's kind of big to ask. The 2-point they should have got. That was the second failed, Newton run. The only other failed run that Newton had was that 2-point conversion that they missed. That was the other time they stopped Newton on that formation.
Oh, yeah, I didn't like that play.
That was a terrible play call. 2 yards? I mean, yeah, he can get 2 yards, but that 2-point
I guess
call,
you look at it, could have gone to overtime. No, you would have gone for it. 100% you go for it at the 1. I wouldn't have kicked that field goal.
I would have kicked the field goal.
I would have gone for it.
Well, they
Early
probably would
season?
have. If they knew going in they needed a field goal, they would have played it differently. I don't think they would have gone all the way to the 1. Assuming they get all the way to the 1, yeah, I'd probably go for it just because I got 240-pound sumo wrestler as my quarterback. But
Cam's a beast, though.
I don't.
Much,
I
have so much confidence
if they
in the
knew
guy.
going in that all they needed was a field goal to tie, they probably would have set themselves up for a field goal.
The other crazy
That's
thing,
the most optimistic loss of
literally
my
ever.
entire life.
Ever. But, is it crazy? It took Cam Newton 2 games for Julian Edelman to set a career high in receiving yards, and Brady, that was mind-blowing. You're telling me Edelman never had that many yards with
and
Brady?
so much more will
That's
prove that
sad.
game because Newton
That's
takes the Pats
sad.
all the way down the field as a chance for a game-winning drive at the 1-yard line. He
Easily,
basically
too.
went all the way. He marched all the way down the field, less
All
than
the
2
way.
minutes with 2
He
times,
made
all
some
the way
good plays,
against
some
that
good
defense.
throws.
Game 1, he throws for 155 yards, doesn't throw a touchdown.
Those were
doesn't throw a pick,
400 in this game, basically.
and
397.
rushes for 75 yards and 2 scores. And everyone's like, oh, so here's the next Lamar Jackson. Pats are probably going to run it a lot, and that's what I'm thinking. They're probably just going to do a lot of running. And then I see on Instagram from one of a Patriot Instagram account or whatever that it was like Cam Newton expected to stay more in the pocket. And I was like, that's fucking bullshit. He can outrun these edge rushers on Seattle. And he goes and torches for 400 passing yards. 400 passing yards. And how many incompletions did he throw?
Good question.
I think he was 34 or 47. That's just off the top of my head guess.
Yeah. I mean, he still ran for 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But it showed that Newton.
He's a dude.
It showed that Newton threw 400 yards with that receiving core against that defense. He can throw and he can run now.
Yes.
What happened when Brady had that receiving core? He left.
30 of 44. Yeah, Brady sucks. He's terrible.
Yeah,
he's god awful.
So
Man sucks.
here's my whole
Brady just straight up sucks. He's terrible. I mean, he's washed.
Here's my evaluation about Tom Brady, and kind of on the other side of it, Julian Edelman too. A lot of people thought, well, I don't know if a lot of people did, but I kind of did think, will Julian Edelman's production go down without Tom Brady? Clearly not. Tom Brady, will his production go down without Bill Belichick? Safe to say.
And with a 10 times and with the best receiving core he's ever had.
Yeah. I mean, they're a little banged up, but
it's
still.
It's kind of proving that receiving core. Yes, Godwin's hurt. Gronk, we can't count Gronk. Gronk's out.
Gronk is a bum. He's a bum.
But Gronk's a bum, but he's not. He's Gronk. I mean, he can still. I think he can show some flashes here and there.
I don't know.
But even still, OJ Howard's not terrible. Cameron Brate's average, and then they got
Cameron
Scotty
Brate's
Miller,
no
who's
different than Ryan Izzo.
Brady's got 3.
It's a mindset thing for Brady.
Brady's got 3 starting worthy tight ends, 2 all-pro receivers, and he's throwing to the 3rd receiver on his team.
It's a mindset thing for Brady. So Evans, I think, is he's not what we think he is. I think his production with
Winston
gets
targeted a million times a game.
Was kind of not what it really was, and
I mean, if I got targeted 65 times a game, I'd probably make a catch at some point.
Yeah, and all he did, if you probably look at his numbers, I don't know what they are, but I'm sure he never really had more than 5-6 catches a game with 130 yards because he caught a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, Winston literally was, I'm throwing this ball 70 yards down the field. He
also didn't have a run game, so Winston threw it 70 times a game.
Well, they did that on purpose because Winston
didn't have a run game.
Didn't know how to throw the ball less than 10 yards because if he did, he'd overthrow the guy and put in the other guy's chest. An easy interception, 30-30. It's not baseball. It's football, 30-30. You don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm confident in the Pats now.
There's one thing I can say about
before
this.
the season, I
Football's
was
the
like 9
greatest
and 7,
God-given
10 and
sport
6.
ever.
I know, it's freaking awesome. I love these games. But before I was like 9 and 7, 10 and 6. Now I'm like, 12 and 4, 13 and 3. You never know.
No, I'm thinking 11-5 is reasonable. I think they're gonna have one. I think they're gonna have that one. They're gonna lose to Baltimore. They're gonna lose to Kansas City. They're gonna lose to.
I don't know about Kansas City. I don't know.
Now they have 3 losses.
I don't know.
I think Kansas City's win the
City
Super Bowl.
started
Baltimore,
off slow
Kansas City,
year.
Baltimore, Kansas City. I think they're gonna lose to. I lost to Seattle. I think they're gonna lose to one division team. They get 4 losses, and then one of San Francisco, Houston, or Arizona. If Arizona's riding high, they might probably lose to Arizona. If San Fran's not as banged up as they are now,
they
maybe
when they lost, their defense is not that good anymore. And Jimmy G, we don't know about him.
And then if
Houston sucks.
But Houston stinks. But if Deshaun Watson,
Houston might win 5
last
games.
Year,
no,
so.
Houston might not. I'm saying Houston right now 5 and 11 at best. That team sucks. Team's bad. They're not good. Yes, they had a tough start with Kansas City and Baltimore, but that team is not that good. They'll probably lose this week to Pittsburgh.
Their production is just not it.
They're just not that good of a team. It's simple as that. Looking at their schedule, it's pretty
I was optimistic
easy.
about Houston because I think that Deshaun Watson's getting better. I mean, yeah, you got Brandon Cooks. I mean, he's nothing special, but he's pretty. I think Deshaun Watson's a fantastic quarterback if he's given the right talent. A fantastic quarterback. He's like, I think
we're overrating him. I like him.
No, we're not. Have you seen the plays that he's made? Have you seen the plays that Deshaun Watson's made? The ability to stay alive in the pocket and be able to throw an accurate pass while getting kicked in the face. I mean, seriously. The plays that Deshaun Watson's made are insane. He's a run threat. He's the next Russell Wilson, I think. He's a better runner than Wilson. I don't think he's got the arm, but, you give some, you get some. I think he's a really, really good quarterback.
He's not over.
Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback, but his receivers aren't, and his offensive line's terrible. So, and they never had a run game. So that's why Stafford's numbers are, never as good as he plays. So I think that Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback. Yeah, he lost Hopkins, but Kyler Murray's numbers are going to go way up when getting Hopkins. Hopkins elevates everyone's play. But I think Watson's a great quarterback.
Quarterback's play.
His receivers stink. Let's be real here. I was optimistic about Houston because I thought Fuller was really something special, but he's just a guy that gets targeted a million times a game. So, And then David Johnson I thought was going to be really good on Houston. Played a really good week 1, only Houston got blown out, basically. And then week 2, they played Baltimore. So, I mean, they play the 2 best teams in the AFC the first 2 weeks. So I think that's huge for momentum, a big momentum kill for Houston. But I think Houston's going to go out and beat Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh's anything special. I think they're all smoke and mirrors. They just got Big Ben. I think he's washed. Yeah,
I don't know. Houston's an interesting team. I don't know.
I think Pittsburgh just got a lot of weapons everywhere, but their quarterbacks,
Do they,
Yeah, I think Juju's really good. I think a really underrated guy on that offense is Deontay Johnson. Benny Snell's not terrible, and I think James Conner gets 1 million carries. I mean, if you give me 1 million carries, I'll pick up 100 yards on 1 million carries. Right? So I just think
what did he do last week? Because week 1 he had 10 carries for 6 yards.
Oh, no, Conner had over 100 yards. Conner played really well. I think he had over 100 yards. Yeah. Yeah, he had a touchdown too. Conner played well. Deontay Johnson played well. Smith-Schuster had 7 catches for 40 yards or something, or 4 catches for 70 yards. I can't remember.
Okay, cool.
Ebron.
That's enough on
defense. So Pittsburgh's always but go Pats.
Go Pats. Super Bowl.
Leave it at that.
7.
Look, you haven't talked yet.
Yeah, I know. So it's my turn.
Let's hear your voice.
My turn. Yay! 20 minutes in.
Game.
Woo! I'm going to make it quick because that was way too much talking between the both of you. Basically, first thing
you guys don't assert yourselves. We're not just taking
trust
turns.
Me, I try.
We try. But
I
it's
let
okay.
Andrew speak.
Yeah, we try, but it's okay. Yeah, you let Andrew speak one-liners. But it's all right. It's all right.
Because that's all I
some
said.
people are talkers.
You could have kept going.
It's fine. Whatever. I'm trying to get this done so we can move on. First of all, I think it's ironic that first point is it's ironic that a lot of Seahawks fans right now are probably saying, "What are you doing? You don't run it at the goal line or at the 1 yard line. You pass it," which I think is pretty ironic because I bet a lot of them are thinking that. Anyway, second point. Last week I said something about how I was wary about the Patriots offense in the way that they showed their offense and the way they ran it against Miami. And I said that if they keep to this offensive play style, then they're going to have trouble. But they kind of did the opposite with Cam throwing for 397 and a touchdown. Very accurate. I wouldn't say very accurate. Pretty accurate.
No, he was accurate.
30 of 44 is pretty good.
Above average. 68%.
Was...
So yeah, it wasn't great. It was average. So average, whatever.
It's above average.
He threw the ball well. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Really well.
And last time Cam threw for 340 plus and ran for 40 plus, week 15, 2015. That was his MVP season. So I think that I don't think he's going to be the MVP.
And he's getting paid less than Peterman.
I think he'll get votes, and I think that if they do what the game plan for every team, which is what I think they did. I think Miami is just like run whatever because they stink. But the way the game planned for Seattle is they have a very good run defense, especially with Bobby Wagner under there at the linebacker position. And then they also saw early on those injuries to the secondary. Like the Seahawks were on their third string safety or whatever. So the game plan probably switched to even more pass heavy after they saw that the Seahawks were kind of injured in the secondary. But overall, I think overall think that this style of offense where they're going game by game, week by week is going to be good, and that's what I wanted to happen. I only said that the Patriots would struggle, and I'm worried about the Patriots if they just use Cam to run 25 rushes a game. But he didn't do that this time, and he looked very comfortable, looked very strong with his arm, very accurate as well. And, the weapons kind of delivered, I would say. I mean, Julian Edelman, you're not going to get that many yards out of him every week, so the other guys need to find ways to step up, but that was definitely a win within a loss for the Patriots. And just one more thing, I think that for them to be a deep playoff team, we saw that, last year their secondary was best in the league, no doubt. They were top six, they led the league in least pass touchdowns allowed, which was 13. Second least pass yards in the league, and most picks by 5, I think it was. They had 25 picks last year, and Pittsburgh had 20, and they only let up 13 pass touchdowns the entire year last year. They've already let up 5 in one game. So I think that they need to tighten up a little. And again, Russell Wilson's very good, and last year their schedule wasn't as good as it is this year. That's probably part of why they had a good defense. But I think that other guys, need to see the field, and they kind of need to play around with who they got because of all the opt-outs. And I think that's the one thing, as funny as it is, because we always say their defense is so good. But honestly, I think that's the one thing that's holding them back from being a Super Bowl team right now is just getting a few more guys on defense that can make plays and step up because, they didn't look great against the Seahawks. But it was a promising win, or promising loss, I should say. It was a win within a loss. That's essentially what I have to say about it. Thank you very much. But anyways, to move on, we are going to move away from the Patriots to another primetime game, which was last night, the Monday Night Football game between Las Vegas, and the New Orleans Saints. Las Vegas, surprisingly to a lot of people, pulled out of that game with a win. And Nick, you look like you're ready to talk. So what do you have to say about the Raiders starting 2-0 and winning a game against New Orleans, who looked pretty good in week 1, didn't really look good in week 2? What do you have to say, Nick?
Well, I thought the Raiders were going to win this game going in. I just thought that New Orleans is nothing without Thomas. And you saw their second receiver, Emmanuel Sanders, got 1 catch the entire game for 19 yards. That was it. And it was like in garbage time on that it was the last pass play of the game, or second to last pass play of the game, where he caught a 19-yard pass. Like, that was it. They held Sanders out of the game. Abram played great, even though I almost thought he died, and then just got back up and sprayed on the sideline. I was like, wow. I think that New Orleans needed to run the ball a little more. Breeze threw a really bad interception. He also didn't look good. I think Thomas makes him look really, really good.
Yeah, is this showing that Breeze just? I think I just think he's like done. He can't throw the ball anymore.
I just think great quarterbacks do great things with great receivers, and other than that, they do mediocre things. Like I think Matthew Stafford's a pretty good quarterback, but he does mediocre things because he doesn't have great receivers. Aaron Rodgers has best seasons. Galladay hurt the first 2 games, and I mean they don't have a run. You know what I'm saying? I mean Aaron Rodgers didn't. Aaron Rodgers, had his best seasons when he had Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb and that whole receiving core, and then he's had some of his worst seasons when his best receivers Devontae Adams and his second best receivers like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, right? So I think great quarterbacks do great things with great receivers, and if they don't have great receivers, like they perform like Tom Brady did last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think I don't know. Breeze just can't. He literally can't throw the ball. Like it looks like he's like hurting himself when he tries to throw it. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, you even pointed out yourself last year. Remember, Brian, you saying it that Brady didn't like to throw to guys like Jacoby Myers and I'll use Jacoby Myers for this example. He didn't like to throw to guys like Jacoby Myers because they didn't really know the game plan. They weren't really good. They didn't know how to get open well, so he just refused to throw them. So he'd always throw to Edelman. I think the older generation quarterbacks like Breeze, for example, will only want to throw to Michael Thomas, and Emmanuel Sanders was kind of just held as a non-factor. And he was forced to throw like Traquan Smith, who's nothing special, and he's forced to throw Jared Cook, who's one of the greatest tight end in the NFL. And that's why you saw him throwing a lot to Alvin Kamara, who caught like 9 passes for 95 yards. And he threw a lot to Ty Montgomery and Tavius Murray. Like, these are all running backs, and he threw a ton of them. He didn't really throw much to his receivers and tight ends because he didn't have Thomas. And Thomas spreads the field so other guys can get open. So that's why I think, the best quarterbacks still won't be able to put up crazy numbers if they don't have a good receiving core.
Yeah, agreed. And so, yes, we all know that Breeze looked really bad, but I think that, he's getting old, but one thing I want to talk about is the Saints defense, specifically their secondary. Derek Carr's a good quarterback, but he doesn't really have anyone. He has a rookie in Ruggs. Darren Waller's good, but other than that, Josh Jacobs isn't a pass catcher. He's a workhorse that strictly runs the ball. He doesn't get a lot of receptions, and I'm kind of pointing fingers specifically at one man, and that was Malcolm Jenkins. He was getting picked on, and they talked about it too. If you listen to the broadcast on where do they do Monday Night Football? ESPN. ESPN. That's right. So ESPN. If you were listening, Louis Riddick was talking a ton about Malcolm Jenkins because he was getting picked on all night. He couldn't guard Waller. They tried to put him out on someone else. Like Derek Carr was just going at him. And this is a safety or a DB who has been and won 2 Super Bowls. He's been around the league since 2009. He's a captain on that team and a captain on that defense, so he should know what he's doing. And he got ran over by Oakland's receivers and Derek Carr. So as many fingers that are being pointed at Breeze, I think it's equally on the Saints, specifically Malcolm Jenkins, who is supposed to lead that secondary and that defense, and he did a poor job of it last night. And it wasn't even just him lacking coverage. He had some key penalties down in the red zone. I can specifically remember one in the first half. But yeah, overall, I think as much as it is on Breeze and him not looking great, I think the defense has a lot to do with it. Their loss last night.
Right. Yeah.
And Derek Carr's a good quarterback. Derek Carr did well. Darren Waller's a beast. He showed flashes of it last year, but the first 2 games this year, he's really stepped it up. But
I think a big thing that really, made Derek Carr look good was the fact that he put up better numbers in the second half than did in the first half. And Richie Incognito got hurt at one point in the first half. One of the best guard on that, one of the best offensive linemen on that team got hurt and did not end up, coming back into the game. And Derek Carr still put up really good numbers. I think it's pretty awesome.
So moving on from this subject, Patriots have them next week. Who do we have in that game? Because I feel like that's going to be a better game. By
16.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a better game than we anticipate, especially once it was scheduled in the beginning of the season.
Vegas is due for a dud and a half.
Vegas is due for a dud and a half. Fully agreed. And they got to come back
traveling
to the East.
cross
They got to come
country.
back. They went Carolina, back to Las Vegas, now back
after playing on a Monday. Oh, they're
back
dropping a dud and a half.
They're going back to the East Coast. The Pats are still also going back to the East Coast, but they're not as
they're going home.
Yeah, but exactly, they're going home. So.
And they played and
they put up 30. They put up 30 points and nearly more. Should have been more against the Seahawks. They should have. And frankly, they should put up 31 against the Dolphins, which that defense isn't terrible either.
They basically
did.
They
have a lot of big names. So Pat's defense is pretty electric. Pretty electric.
So the only thing that I am wary about is what I saw last night in the Saints defense was what I saw a lot of in the Patriots defense against the Seahawks, because their secondary has good names, but they just didn't deliver, and that's what the Patriots did, I feel like, in Seattle.
But that was just the thing about that was a bad matchup for the Pats. I think, this matchup is a lot better. I don't know.
I also think
they're still the best secondary for the Patriots. I think that.
In the league, you think?
I think the Pats are the best. Yeah. I think the Pats are the best secondary in the NFL, A. Still,
yes,
but
I agree.
B, more importantly, I think that the Saints didn't look. I think the Pats didn't look as bad, or the Saints secondary didn't look as bad as the Pats secondary, because Carr didn't really spread the ball around. He hit Waller 10, 11 times. He hit that. He. It was just Darren Waller. It was one. It was one guy, right? In New England against the Pats, the Seahawks, Metcalf had 4 catches, Lockett had 8 catches, and Moore had near 6 catches. I mean, everyone was getting complete. Everyone was getting passes from Wilson. Everyone was involved, almost an equal amount. Everyone did their due at the receiver from the receiver standpoint. No Pats defensive back had a fantastic game. They were Marshall Lattimore didn't play terrible. I mean, Janoris Jenkins had a couple of bad plays, but that was it. I mean. The entire secondary for the Saints didn't look as bad as the Pats secondary did yesterday or Sunday.
Let's also compare Russell Wilson to Derek Carr.
Yes.
That is true, but Derek Carr looked pretty darn good last night. I mean,
did he throw for 5 touchdowns?
He didn't throw for 5 touchdowns, but
Thank
he
you
did
for listening to my TED Talk.
He did look very good, and if we don't forget, he was top 2 in MVP voting a few years ago. So I mean, he can. I feel like he is better than people give credit for. And on the point of the Patriots secondary being the best, yeah, they were the best last year, but they really didn't play a lot of solid receivers. I mean, this year they have to play Metcalf. He's bigger than everybody else. Who else is on their schedule? Off the top of my head, I can't really think. I don't know the Patriots.
Kansas City. I mean, they have
Kansas City. They have.
Other
a ton,
than that,
they lost to Kansas City last year. So
Hopkins.
Hopkins. Do they play Arizona?
Yeah,
they
do. That's right. They do play. So they got some elite receivers, and those are really the tests. They failed the test against Seattle. They just have to pass. They have to pass the other tests against the other teams, because right now I think. I don't know if I agree. Last year, definitely, numbers-wise, but this year.
The reason I'm not worried about the Raiders is because look at the teams that Belichick struggled with. They all got good coaches. I mean, and coaches that have kind of foiled Belichick in the past. Carroll has competed with Belichick in the past for a long time, and I think that's and now the more experienced coaches understand Belichick's schemes, understands his tendencies to change.
These games are the best.
So when Belichick goes up against Mike Tomlin, when he goes up against Pete Carroll, or when he goes up against Andy Reid, those are just some examples. Or when he goes up against guys that used to be on his coaching staff, they're usually the way for teams to beat the Patriots is to use experience they've had against New England in the past, multiple encounters with New England and multiple different experiences. You don't just beat the Patriots by looking at film. You beat them by having faced them several times. Right, Tomlin's faced Belichick a bunch of times, Reed and Carroll. So I think
this year is different though, with a different offense. Newton just changes everything.
I understand it, but it's the game plan stands. I mean, they kind of let Newton run, and they factor that in. That's why that's why Newton's doing so good, because if Brady was the QB right now, I think teams would be able to game plan would game plan a little better, I think Brady's Brady. Reason Newton's doing so good and so effective both in the run and the pass game is because he's got that threat to run, which kind of fools defenders. But I think it's just the principle of the game planning against Belichick and understanding what he's going to do, understanding his tendencies. I mean, I think the more times you play Belichick, the better chance you have of beating him in the future, and that's why Carroll won on Sunday, and that's why I think Gruden's going to get absolutely pummeled into the dirt this coming up Sunday because Gruden's faced Belichick. I don't even think he's really faced him at all. Maybe he's faced a couple times in his career when he was on like Cleveland or whatever, but right? So I think Belichick's going to absolutely blow him out of the water.
Cool. All right. Moving on, we are going to go to our weekly stat selections. Now, I forgot to update everyone on the standings last week, but currently Andrew and I are in first, tied for first with 11 points. Brian is in second with 9, or second, third, whatever you want to call it, third. And then Nick with 7 points in last. Big, tough offer last week.
Okay. Sorry, my fantasy team's 2-0 in our Big Four league, so.
Yeah, that's all right. But this week, we got, first question, NFL QB that'll have 300-plus passing yards in a game this week, Nick.
I'm going to go with Dak Prescott going up against the Seattle Seahawks, who have given up 450 passing yards to Matt Ryan and 397 passing yards. 397 passing yards to Cam Newton. And Dak Prescott's coming off a day where he threw for 450 yards and ran in for 3 scores. I think Dak's going to throw for 300 against the Seahawks.
So I am going to go actually in the same game, but other quarterback. I think both secondaries will let up a ton of yards. It's going to be a shootout of a game because we just saw what Matt Ryan did against them. He lost, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I'm going to go with Wilson. I think he can get 300 plus against a very bad Cowboys secondary, very bad Cowboys defense in general, but their secondary is terrible too. So Brian, QB.
I want to go with Cam because I feel like he just has, but I have
they might come out with a game plan and run it 20 times to him.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to do the complete opposite, and absolutely Newton's going to run for 150. That's not going to happen. But they're just going to do something different. They're going to do a trick play. Like Edelman's going to throw a 50-yard pass. That's about to happen. So I'll just go with the league leader, Josh Allen.
Oh, by the way, I just want to throw us out there because now we're kind of between picks. It's official. The Giants have officially signed Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, Devontae Freeman.
If anyone in the world out here cares or gives a poo, but
Giants suck. Giants and Jets
doesn't matter.
Fighting
Giants
for.
Suck. I love laughing at the Giants. Oh,
I love laughing at the Jets too.
I'm laughing at everyone. It's not the Patriots.
Yeah. So first off, I like laughing at the Jets more. It's just awesome.
They're
disgrace the team.
But
just laughing at New York in general is great, but that's beside the fact.
New York sucks.
Russell Wilson, the
Okay.
MVP of the 2020 NFL season.
Yep. All right, Nick. Second question: a team that's going to score 30-plus points in a game this week.
Team that's going to score 30 plus. I am going to go with. Ooh, hold on. One sec. Let me just think. Okay. I'm going to go with. It's tough. I'm going to go with Seattle.
Seattle against the Cowgirls. All right.
Seattle against the Cowgirls.
All right. I'm going to go. I was either between the Packers or the Cardinals because the Cardinals play.
How do you know those were the exact 2 teams I was thinking of?
Well, because the Cardinals have put up points and they play the Lions.
Detroit.
But I'm going to end up going with Green Bay because they've scored 40-plus in both their first 2 games. And the New Orleans just let up, 34 points to Vegas. So I'm going with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is nuts. Brian?
This is another one where I'm like, I don't want to double up.
Do Pats.
Atlanta scored a lot, but do I trust Atlanta to be consistent? I mean, they just chuck it downfield. Pats, screw it.
Yeah, go with the Pats.
I just got to show my confidence in that offense, and I think they're pretty freaking good.
Too bad Bill isn't going to see this, and it doesn't matter about your confidence. But that's all right. Good choice.
Yeah.
Andrew.
See, this is what I hate about this is why I hate going last, is that I always look like I'm copying somebody.
When you go first, you lose. So
yeah, exactly. So
win or copy.
Nobody went with the Packers, right?
I did.
Or did? All right, I'll go with the Cardinals.
No shame in copying.
I was. Yeah, you didn't.
No shame in agreeing with one another.
No, I trust the Cardinals too. Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I was between those two. I just
the Cardinals get blanked. That'd be funny.
I just have more faith
to Detroit.
Against the Lions.
That'd be one hell of a defense. One hell of a showing defensively.
I would think blanked.
Third question.
Don't get blanked in the NFL.
Third question.
If the Arizona Cardinals score 0 points, I will come on to next podcast with a dress on.
You accept those terms?
I do.
All right, it's a deal. Shake. Air shake.
Third and final question. NFL running back. Well, it's only going to be NFL, but running back with multi-TD game. So 1 reception, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving. Running back with multi-touchdown game. Nick.
This is where I need my guy McCaffrey. This is where I need him. The multi-touchdown machine. No, I'm gonna have to go with a little bit of a shocker, but he played well. I'm gonna go with. You're gonna laugh when I say this. I'm gonna go with Leonard Fournette because he's shown on Jacksonville that he can be good in the pass game. He scored 2 rushing touchdowns last game. I think he's gonna be a lot more at 100 yards. I think he's gonna be a lot more involved in the offense this week against Denver with no Von Miller. I think, and Bray loves his running backs. And I think he can get a rushing and receiving touchdown. I think that's a very likely possibility because he's had touchdowns receiving, a lot of them on Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'm going to go someone who also might be probably a surprise, but there's very limited options because of all the running back injuries. But I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. Now, he doesn't catch a lot of passes, but they do play the Vikings, who let up 43 to the Packers in week 1.
And they have no Danielle Hunter.
And no Danielle Hunter, no Anthony Barr as well.
They
just let up 28 to the Colts, out of all teams. So I think that Derrick Henry could punch 2 in for
yourself.
Tennessee.
The Colts aren't the worst in the league.
They have Phillip Rivers as their quarterback.
I think they have a pretty good core, and Jonathan Taylor's really good.
Jonathan Taylor's good. That's the only bright spot. Period. Conversation done. Brian.
Aaron Jones.
Oh,
buddy. Come
Aaron
on.
Jones. See, he was my second one, but I didn't want to be like.
I didn't even think of him. I
want to get a nice little point and feel good about myself because I picked someone kind of abstract.
See, this is why you're in last, Nick.
Yeah, this is why you are in last place. This is why you are
in dead last place.
I was playing. Watch him do it.
Abstract pick.
You know what? Watch him do it.
You don't get points for creativity, bud. You get points for being right.
Watch him do it.
All right, fine.
Don't have Nick be your sports book guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm a football guy because you know what? You know who's beating all you in fantasy football? This guy. I drafted a good team.
You can't. This is more betting than fantasy football is. But anyways, go ahead, Andrew.
He got hurt.
Yeah. So, logical decision, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm in first place. Aaron Jones, easy pick.
I already typed it in. Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for the stat selections. If you didn't know already, after we said it a bunch of times, Nick is in last place. But yeah, we are going to move on to baloncesto and the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. 2-1. Actually, sorry, apologies. 2-1 in the Eastern Conference Series. 2-0 Lakers, who play tonight in about 20 minutes, actually, against the Nuggets. So, actually, we'll start with you, Nick. What do you think the Lakers have looked like so far in these 2 games that you've seen?
So I don't think they're going to win today because I don't think teams deserve to win after putting up 23 turnovers in the game. I don't think that deserves to happen. I don't think they should have won last game because Denver also sucked too. I mean, they
Why
had
was
no
PJ Dozier on the floor?
Lakers had no
MPJ.
business.
Why?
No business winning last game. No business. Game 1, they obliterated them. I loved it. Game 2, no business winning. They actually won, so that was a steal. Game 3, I think Denver's just gonna. Denver plays great when they're behind. Let's look at the history, right? They play great when they're behind. They're down 2 games. I think Denver takes this one. Lakers win. Denver win. Denver win. Lakers win in 7. I think Lakers are going to win 7.
7.
Okay,
Excuse me.
I've been taking the Lakers in 7. Here's my reasoning.
Oh
Here's my
my
reasoning.
God.
So
If it
here's
goes
my
to
reasoning
7,
for 7.
Denver all day long. They're going
yeah.
3-1 3 times.
I took the
100%.
Lakers in 7 against
all
Portland.
my
They won
money
in
on
5.
that.
I took the Lakers in
All
7
of
against
it.
Portland, and they won in 5, and it was stress-free. Then I took the Lakers in 7 against Houston. They won in 5, and it was stress-free.
Oh, so you're just doing this
Holman,
for
if
your
I take
stress
the Lakers
levels.
in 7
This isn't
if
a
I take
logical
the Lakers in
pick.
7 against Denver, and they win in 5, and it's stress-free.
This isn't a
Celtics win in
logical
7
pick.
in the finals. They win in
All
5,
right.
it's stress-free.
You better hope that
Going to
that
be
loss.
metal.
You better hope that the Lakers do not go up 3-1. If they lose Game 3, they should forfeit Game 4. They should forfeit. I don't care.
They have
Do
to
not
tie
go up
2-2.
3-1.
So it doesn't go
Do
3-1
not go up
'cause they'll
3-1.
lose.
You either got to bring out the brooms or you got to go into Game 5 tied.
When has LeBron ever blown a 3-1 lead? Name one time.
When has
Oh, wait.
Kawhi
don't care.
blow it? When has
Oh,
Paul
wait.
George blown
when
it?
was the
When
last
has
time?
the Jazz blown it? When have Donovan Mitchell? When has
So
anyone
wait.
blown it? That
So
the
wait.
Nuggets have played.
Okay, when was the last time a
So wait.
team came back from 3-1 twice, and one of them being Kawhi Leonard?
When's the last time a team came back from 3-1 3 times?
That hasn't happened.
Never.
It hasn't
Nobody did it
happened.
twice.
Name
No
me a
one
team
did it
that beat
twice
LeBron.
either, and that
Twice.
happened this
Name
season.
me a team that beat LeBron went down 3-1. I'll wait.
Nobody, but you
think
could have
so.
said the same thing about Kawhi
You
About
couldn't say the same thing about anybody.
8 days ago.
Nobody's done it until it happens.
They ain't
Like,
doing it 3 times in a row. I
Never know.
You know what? If their Lakers go up 3-1, I'll be chilling.
I honestly would
They
too.
can win 1 out of 3
But you
against- they can
say
win- they
you said
can
it
win
was
1 out
going
of
to
3
win in
against them.
7.
The Clippers suck. They look terrible against Dallas. Even in some of the games they beat Denver, they didn't look great. I mean, I didn't think Denver was going to come back and win. Well, it was awesome watching them come back and win. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers blow through a lead as if the Lakers blew through a lead. I wouldn't be as surprised.
In the bubble,
anything could happen.
it's been shown, like, in the entire playoffs, the Denver Nuggets are the best team in the third quarter. It is insane.
Which is why I'm scared if it's Nuggets Celtics, they in the finals they would get
Facts. Oh my
absolutely
God.
Oh, yeah.
slapped.
We'll
The
be up
Celtics would get
45 at the
slapped.
half, and then it will be
I think
tied.
the Celtics.
Wow.
God,
Tied
God.
with 5 minutes left in the third.
I mean, I need a bite on a belt when I say this because it's just so painful to say. I think the Celtics are a lot better than people think they are. Oh, it's
They
so terrible
are.
saying that because they got Hayward back. They got 17
Can I
point per
say this
game
right
score.
now?
They got
Can I
a
say this
17
right
point
now?
per. They got a 17 point per game score on their bench. They didn't have that before.
Celtics in 6.
That's
Can I say
spicy.
this-
That's
Can I say this
spicy.
right now?
Miami's in trouble. This series was over. The Celtics implode the locker room game, implode after game 2, and they come out win game 3.
That was an
Miami
energizer.
loses
Every
game
good
3.
team's done that.
Okay,
I said if Miami
let's
loses
relax.
game 3, this game.
Let's
series is over.
relax.
Boston's winning
It was
this
not
series
an
in
implode. Let's
Boston's
just
winning in Boston's winning.
It was
in
classic
5.
Celtics shit.
7.
But
Boston's winning in 7. I give Miami a
I
pity
could-
win.
the Celtics could easily be 11-0 in the postseason. Like easily. It's not even like
so
it's not even
true,
funny.
and
Like
it's
they could
so
they
sad.
could so easily have swept Toronto. Like oh my god, so easily could have swept Toronto. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be up 3-0 in this series. And Philly doesn't count. They suck.
Two
I mean, how about that block by
Sorry,
Bam?
That was crazy. But we were also
already
up
talked about
14
that,
with
I
11
thought.
minutes left in the game. And then last game, we were up 17 almost at the halftime, up 13. And then we got outscored by 20. And then we were up 5 with 4 minutes left and still lost. So,
Yeah, this blowing
should-
lead thing, this trend of blowing leads, gotta cut it out because it
I know.
is
And they
so
almost
funny
did
watching the
last
Celtics blow
game.
25-point leads. It is
So
so
honestly-
funny.
So I go into
Oh.
every game, I'm like,
Oh.
they will be up 20 at some point, and I'll be
they
like,
almost, they,
bet,
I mean,
let's go. This is comfortable because it's not a close game, and then it becomes a close game when it matters.
And it's
which
like,
is,
oh,
I mean,
wait.
I wasn't worried about Miami winning game 3, but when the Celtics started blowing that lead in the end of the fourth,
I was like, no
I
way.
was like, no way. They're doing it
They were
again.
up 20
This is
with
all
like 10
time.
minutes
This is
left.
all time if they're doing it again. And they almost did. But I was never worried. I was like, they're down by 7.
No,
and
I was never
this is
worried.
This is a youth in Miami that I cringe when I see Duncan Robinson just jack up shots and how Eric Spoelstra doesn't pull him out of the game when Robinson jacks about 30. It's like Kuzma.
When Tyler Hero got hot in the second quarter, I didn't think he would ever miss. He was absolute butter.
Yeah.
Butter. Like, it didn't even nick the rim. Oh, my God. That pull-up 3 he had in transition.
I mean, everyone.
And we were still winning at that point. That's the crazy thing. Tyler Hero was popping, and we were still up 13 at the half.
Yeah,
I think ESPN analysts saying that, like,
they're
best
the best
by far in every series.
Yeah, and the best player in this series,
Jaylen Brown.
basically for the entire Celtics
Jimmy Butler's not that good.
Has been no question. Jaylen Brown.
Smart.
He
Jaylen Brown.
clamped Pascal Siakam. He played incredible defense. Game 3. He is insane.
What did I say?
I Jaylen Brown.
I texted you guys, right?
Yes,
Hot take. Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum right now. That's my take.
Now, yes. Overall,
their points their points per game is only a 3-point difference. But the defense that Jaylen Brown brings is so much more than Jason Tatum. So if what I'm saying is Tatum's a good defender, but Jaylen Brown just does so much more.
He's been a great defender.
The scale between offense between the two is not as great as the scale of defense, which is why I put Jaylen Brown right now higher.
Except what Tatum
more valuable than Brown or Tatum.
Tatum has become an incredible rebounder and passer as of late.
That is true.
Everyone in the NBA is a good rebounder. Let's be real. Everyone grabs rebounds. I mean, you can get one.
But I mean,
rebound game
in these games, he's putting up like 12, 13, 14 rebounds, and now he's getting 5, 6, 7, 8 assists. Brown never has assists. He has like 1, maybe a game.
Here's what I know has killed Miami Game 3. They were just going down jacking up shots.
we had like 95 points in the paint.
I mean, look, when they went and they swept the Pacers, who was making the faces at the end of the series? Jimmy Butler. When they went and beat Milwaukee, who hit the big shots down the stretch? Jimmy Butler. When they against the Celtics, who made the big shot? No, it was who made the big block? Game 1, Bam Adebayo. Game 2, was it Butler? Game 2, Butler hit a nice 3. Game 2, but Game 3,
he also made some good defensive plays.
Game 3, the ball was out of Butler's hands. That's why they couldn't. I mean, rookies can only do so much.
The thing with Game
3, they kept it away from Butler.
The thing with Game 3 was 5 minutes left. The Celtics were up double digits. If it's like a 6 or 8 point game, yes, you give it to Jimmy Butler and he wins the game for you because the Celtics.
They cut down
to
7 at one point or 5 or whatever.
Yeah, but that was with a minute and a half left. With 5 minutes left, it was a 15, 17 point game, and at that point, you're just like whatever. But the thing that I think that killed the Heat was, as much as I love Eric Spoelstra and he's shown that he's the better coach in the series. I love Brad too, but Spoelstra is a better coach. The reasoning behind not going to more zone in the second half kind of not bothered me because the Celtics won, but if they had gone to a more zone look, especially in the second half like they have done in games 1 and 2, I feel like that would have gave the Celtics a little bit more fits. Obviously, they did get out in transition a lot more. Yeah, definitely.
It looked like Boston figured out that zone.
No,
they kind of did.
Hayward didn't figure out the zone. Gordon Hayward simply solves the zone. That man knows what to do when he has the ball with the zone.
That's why I think that these 4 days off from Miami are going to help the Heat because
he actually knows what he's doing.
These 4 days off are going to help several days off are going to help the Heat more than the Celtics because the Heat can go back and make up a new game plan. That's what I think. The Celtics just need rest, and their game plan's fine. Miami can go back and find a new defensive game plan, figure out a new zone, and maybe come back.
Which scares me because I think Spoelstra's a fantastic coach.
He's a genius. They're going to come back. They're going to come back tomorrow, and it's going to be a completely new look at Miami Heat defense. And that's why
the Celtics are still going to go up by 20 in the first half and hopefully hold up. Guaranteed 20-point lead.
You're very optimistic. You're very optimistic.
It's not optimistic. It's not optimistic.
It's not.
Exactly. It's been proven, Nick. It's been proven. It's not optimistic. It's optimistic that they'll hold on to the lead. But it's not
they will
optimistic
go up 20.
That
they will.
Exactly.
100%. No questions asked.
I think Game 4 is. I think tomorrow's going to be a really good.
Most important game of the series tomorrow night.
I hope we win.
Game 4 is always the most important game.
Really,
Game 4 is always most important.
I think when a team goes
you either tie the game 2-2, you either tie the series 2-2, or you go up 3-1.
Every game is important. If you're down 2-0 and you lose,
most important is Game 4.
I think Game 3 is a really important series because especially if a team goes up 2-0, because you come back.
Yeah, but when you think about it, that's only in a case. That's only in that case. Game 4 is important no matter what, because there's only two.
You're either up 2-1 or
okay, whatever. In the case of this,
or go up 3-1.
In the case of this series where the Celtics were down 2-0, if the Celtics lose Game 3 after that argument they had in the locker room, I think that didn't help. If they lose Game 3, it's over. Series do not come back 3-0. If they win Game 3, now they have a really good fighting chance, because then they can make a statement in Game 4. You got to win Game 3 before you can win Game 4. Or, I guess technically.
Every game's important.
Game 1 is.
Hayward makes a huge difference. The guy's confident. He makes winning plays.
Someone's got to win Game 1. I don't think Game 1's important.
And I don't know. Season 6.
Well, so to continue on with the NBA, just one quick thing before we go to our last segment, which is the clown bag of the week. Something that LeBron said in his post game after Giannis won the MVP, was the flawed NBA voting, and I couldn't, as much as I don't like LeBron, whatever, I could not agree with him more. And the one thing that he threw out was the Marc Gasol winning Defensive Player of the Year in 2013, second team all defense. I want to throw out some things
that's not talked about enough
in the voting this year. So ready? First one, Andre Drummond got a vote for Defensive Player of the Year. Andre Drummond. That's a waste of a vote. Luka got an all-defensive first-team vote. Luka Doncic, first team. First team.
That's rich.
Damian Lillard got a second team.
Did Caruso get any defensive team votes?
I don't know.
Did Caruso get any votes at all?
He doesn't play enough.
Not even one.
Not
even one.
Nick, Caruso.
Say he sucks. Say he sucks.
He doesn't suck.
Front rim in a dream.
He doesn't.
What?
The bald
he was
eagle.
So wide open. He could have won the game, and he was so wide open. Front rim in a dream. I mean, you guys still won.
Nick's so triggered.
Let me know when
Caruso was wide open.
Okay,
at the top of the arc,
Alex Caruso is not a top-tier defender when he doesn't play that many minutes. Like, I'm sorry.
Anyways,
that I hurt your dreams of your.
He is a top-tier defender.
Your guy.
No matter how many minutes he plays.
Continuing.
Okay.
Because he has a higher defensive rating than every point guard in the league except Eric Bledsoe and Ben Simmons.
So then he shouldn't have been first team.
Continuing.
But he doesn't play enough because he's not that good.
Dame got a second team vote for all defense. Dame.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb.
And then this one I feel like was the worst one out of them all. Cody Martin of the Charlotte Hornets got an all-rookie second-team vote, averaging 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists.
All defensive team?
Excuse me. No, rookie team. All-rookie team, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists from the Charlotte Hornets.
Give that vote to Grant.
Charlotte Hornets.
Facts.
And then
Grant
one
Williams is great.
And then one that was also surprising, Terrence Davis made it on the second team, but RJ was left off. Where RJ
sucks. He sucks.
He averaged 14. He averaged 14, 3 and 2, and Terrence Davis averaged 7, 3 and 2. So I don't know. That was very confusing. But yeah, the Cody Martin one.
RJ Barrett plays on a horrible team, and he's horrible too. But at some point, you're in the NBA, you're gonna score. So
yeah,
he sucks. I hate.
Yeah, the other ones are absolutely disgraceful, to say the least. Because how does Cody Martin and so this year it didn't matter because most of the awards were already known. As much as we don't like it, Giannis was probably going to win MVP. Defensive Player of the Year was up in the air, but Giannis had that one wrapped. John Morant was Rookie of the Year, no doubt. But the other ones, there's some controversy, and I hate how people like because these are all media guys, right? And whoever voted for Cody Martin, take his vote away, please. Because once there's a year that there is an actual close race, what happens to that vote? That's just thrown away, and that's not fair. So I get that this year was a throwaway anyways because we knew the vote or we knew who was going to win what award. But in the future, take that man's vote away, please, because he doesn't deserve it. Give it to me.
There's always ridiculous votes.
It's so stupid, though. What's the point?
It's all a gimmick. It's all a gimmick. They just do it to get attention.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's all dumb.
So
but anyways,
stupid.
We are going to our last segment, which is our clown bag of the week. Presented by no one. Nick thought that was pretty comical. This week, the Atlanta Falcons hands team, 6 guys for the Atlanta Falcons, had a chance to recover the onside kick. Didn't even attempt. They were just like, oh wow, the ball looks very pretty.
Falcons
today.
defense trying to get a W.
Dallas has the ball. Oh shoot, my job.
Spectator sport.
Oh my
the
god.
Falcons trying to recover.
Why don't you set up your beach
did
chair?
You see the spin on that one? That was impressive.
I'm gonna quote.
Trust me, they saw it.
Falcons fans, that ball spun so much, no one could even get it. It spun so much, you can't even do anything about it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but as the receiving team, you can jump
excuses.
on the ball whenever, so it doesn't have to go. You can just jump on it and you're like, oh sweet, we won the game. But instead they wait until the Dallas gets a chance. They're like, oh, we'll give him a chance, and then fall on it. Oh wait, we gave them too much of a chance. Now we're gonna lose.
It's so great. It's so great to be able to see it. To put the 20 to 3 meme works any day, any time of the year. The
and
20
Julio
to 3 meme just works. But let's be real here. It's so great to incorporate into an actual meme now.
Belichick,
bring back 20 to 3.
Make a run at Julio.
I love it. It's a recurring meme. It's never gonna go away. Anytime the Falcons blow like as much as a 3-point lead, it's gonna bring back 20 to 3. I love it.
Damn,
it's got a great ring to it.
Oh, 28 to 3.
I'm gonna quote Stephen A. I'm gonna quote Stephen A. here. The Falcons are the stupidest franchise in sports history.
Stephen A. is the thesaurus. He whipped that
Fire Mr. Quinn.
Yeah, he uses these stupid words like blasphemy and
he's a thesaurus, but he whipped out a word that doesn't exist. Stupidest.
Or something. I don't even know what he used.
Stupidest.
That is preposterous, and even that's not a big word. I know what that means to an extent. But yeah, he uses stupid words like I don't know.
Blasphemy.
Forcarious. He uses that one a lot. What
okay,
does that mean? I
swear
he doesn't know.
Homie.
I swear. Well, what do we want to move on to? I think that's it.
Moving on from like Stephen A's words because that was just annoying. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even think he knows what the words he uses are. But anyways, do we have anything else to say? Because that was it.
It's just pitiful. I mean,
say 80s
for them.
Nick?
What? No, 28 to 3.
Oh, I thought he said 80s 3 because we didn't say that. But yes, 80 hit a game winner, and I was super mad. But anyways.
I mean,
you're mad.
Pitiful as a football fan, just watching that. Obviously, as a Falcons fan, kind of fun being a Patriots fan and basically
Falcon
any fan.
Phoenix.
Shut up. But anyways, you got 6. What was it? 6 guys.
Yeah, it was like 6 on that side,
sitting around the ball,
watching it.
Just
let's
pulling a Brian,
campfire and sing a
pulling a Brian.
Song.
Let's just camp right here. Let's just not do anything. Oh wait,
let the game come to you. No need to push. Let it.
That's why we don't win, Brian, because that's what happens.
I love that one. I love that one returner try and actually box out one of the Dallas Cowboys rushers. While the ball was right in front of him. Oh God.
R-E-S-O-N-G song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong.
That's exactly what they were saying while they were watching that football
sing
go.
along.
This can be our outro.
C-A-M-P-F-I-R-E-S-O-N-G song. Okay, I'll stop.
That was impressive, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
It'll help if you just sing along.
Sing it in SpongeBob voice. Do it in SpongeBob impression right now.
No thanks. We don't need that. All right, I think that's the cue to stop because that was not good. Any last thoughts or words from anybody?
28 to 3.
28 to 3.
Patriots.
Go Patriots. Brian.
Go Stars.
Go Stars.
Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6. Heat in 7. But anyways.
Not on Tony Brothers' watch.
Yeah, fact. Anyways.
I swear to God.
No. He'll rig it.
You will be hearing it tomorrow.
No, he'll fix the game for the Celtics so the NBA gets more money. But anyways,
that's true.
Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Instagram or Twitter at the Big4_podcast. Also look us up on YouTube for highlights or these recorded videos along with highlights, shorter clips with specific topics. Thank you guys for listening once again, and see you next time.